Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton.
I'm Charlie Neff.
And today on the podcast, we're finally hearing from the ex of the Swamp tour guide, this guy Jeremy, who just married Lana Del Rey. We're hearing from Jeremy's ex-fiancée of 13 years who they just split late last year just before he got with Lana.
Yeah, and she's got some choice words.
She does. We'll also talk about Kristin Cavallari. She's just called it quits with her much younger, very handsome boyfriend, Mark Estes.
Didn't see this coming.
Anna Delvey is finally explaining what she meant when she was kind of like all downcast on Dancing with the Stars when she got evicted.
Right.
And finally, George Clooney has sold his $14 million home to a very interesting, very famous couple.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that there at the end. But to begin with, it's very interesting learning more about Lana Del Rey and her new husband, Jeremy. Does he have a last name? Dufrene. Thought his name was just Jeremy, just like Cher. Jeremy. So we're learning now from his long-term ex-fiancée. Her name is Kelly. She is opening up. She spoke to the Daily Mail and said a lot of things, basically, that she's completely heartbroken and shocked, as you would be.
She's acting like there's kind of some overlap.
Well,
like Lana did some wrongdoing.
Well, I mean,
she said that Lana knew that Jeremy was engaged. So
Right.
This woman's saying they were engaged for many years. They were together for a 13-year relationship.
Mhm.
And Lana was talking to Jeremy knowing he was engaged. And she feels that kind of shut down their relationship.
Well, I can imagine the two women don't look dissimilar either. Like he's got a type. They're both beautiful women, and he obviously, when an A-list star suddenly wants you, it can make you uproot your swamp lifestyle.
Yeah.
To go from rags to riches, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we see it happen all the time in Hollywood where, girls are flocking around Leo DiCaprio or whoever famous person. And when you are plucked out amid so many opportunities for this celebrity, you feel special.
I bet.
Yeah, it feels like it ignites something in you, which, look, we don't know if that really happened to Jeremy, what his situation was with his ex. But she says, look, Jeremy was very open about who he was on social media. He showed photos of Kelly. There was photos of the kids on his social media. So she's not really blaming him too much. She says, look, he was authentic in who he was in that time of his life. But she kind of makes it seem like Lana showing interest, put a,
Dampener
exploded the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's not calling Lana a homewrecker.
No.
But, I mean, let me just give you the relationship of Jeremy and Kelly. So they were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
They dated in high school, then they broke up, and Jeremy married someone else, had a few kids with this other lady, then divorced her, got back with Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly and him were together for the last 13 years, living in his childhood home with his kids and Kelly's daughter. Then he met Lana 5 years ago on a swamp tour, and they've been staying in contact ever since. Since Lana and Jeremy kind of got together, we only knew they were a couple of months ago, but since they got together, they have now moved into the same house Kelly and Jeremy were living in, but they've taken out Kelly's stuff, put it into storage, she says, and Kelly's daughter is still living at the childhood home of Jeremy's childhood home with him, without Kelly there.
Oh, wow.
This is what Kelly said. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of an interesting play-by-play. It's like a reality TV show.
Oh, they should definitely have the cameras rolling for this because it's great. By the way, this Kelly lady, so beautiful.
Yes.
Jeremy, he was cleaning up before Lana Del Rey.
He must be a pretty smooth, nearly 50-year-old tour guide. He must have the words and the charm. You know what I mean? We've all met those sort of tour guides who just make you laugh all the time. And
Not you, Charlie. Not you.
Well,
That's what you're referring to.
I mean, back in the day, I was quite a tour guide.
Oh.
But I mean, Lana must have just been wooed by this, kind of simpler guy than guys she was used to dating over here in Hollywood. You know what I mean? It must have just like appealed to her.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she didn't date like mega celebs before, but she did date people in the entertainment industry, whether it was like a musician or low-level actor or whatever. But
Right.
at least like they kind of were in the same industry. I think it's so shocking that she ended up with Jeremy in the end because it's such like a very, left field job that you would think they don't have anything in common, but they do.
I mean,
they're making it work.
you say ended up. I don't think the story ends here. I mean, I hate to cast doubts on a new marriage.
They just got married. You're already like predicting their divorce.
This is a very whirlwind sort of holiday romance. This is fun as exciting. Like, how did the other half live? I'm going to date a big celebrity.
They've known each other for years.
They've been texting for years. They just met on a swamp tour, Charlie. They don't know each other.
It doesn't matter how you meet. Some people meet online. That's not very romantic either, but it happens.
I'm just saying, watch this space.
How did you and Aaron meet?
At a bar.
Okay.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, well, that's not a very amazing story either.
I didn't leave.
You're very lucky. Aaron's gorgeous.
I didn't leave a long fiance to be with her and then drop it. Anyway, We'll see how it goes. On to our next story. Kristin Cavallari has called it quits.
Cavallari. Oh, wait. Very. Yeah, it rhymes with very. Very Cavallari.
Don't you hate when someone sort of interrupts to correct you and then they end up being wrong?
If I don't correct you, they're going to correct you in our comment section.
It's Cavallari.
Yeah, Cavallari. It rhymes with very. You were saying Cavallari.
Kristin's called it quits with Mark Estes. Can we call him Mark Estes?
Yes.
After 7 months, I guess it's not that surprising. There's a big age gap. No one thought to begin with, is this a real relationship or not? But somehow they just clung onto it. And then suddenly they were talking about, are we going to have babies? And everyone was like, maybe Kristin's actually met the love of her life in this weird way.
Well, she had said, look, we're having great sex, but there's no talks about kids. There's no talks about marriage. But then Mark said, oh, my goal is to have kids and to get married. So it kind of, in the end, showed that they were not on the same page.
Right.
And we know, Kristin, she sold her house. She bought a new house. It wasn't their home. So they never got to the stage of living together, we're told. So we're hearing that it wasn't as serious as it looked. But I mean, if you looked at their social media, it definitely looks pretty serious. They were always all over each other. But it was kind of explained to us it wasn't a forever thing.
It seemed
though that Mark, I think, thought it was.
Mark might have but he's just a young kid. He's mid-20s.
Yeah.
He's the most handsome fella you'd ever.
He's going to be fine.
He's going to be just fine. And yet everyone was just into them because, man, they must have had
great sex. And she did say that. She did say, it was amazing.
I bet. But it'll be interesting to see, where she goes now. She has, this kind of sex-positive podcast.
Yeah.
She's all about dating and sex life. I'll be interested to see, where her dating journey kind of takes her next because she's kind of in that lane for a lot of people. She's a reality TV star, always kind of dating the hot guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who could we see her with?
I mean, I'm not as interested in her.
Oh.
I'm interested to see how Mark's fame propels from this because we already knew Kristin. We already knew she gets the guy, the hot jock or whatever, right? She's always had that. But for him, it's always interesting to see the Pete Davidson effect, where it's you're kind of not really so known, but you date a big celeb. Yeah. And then it just, anytime a girl sees a guy, they'll see a guy in different eyes if a hot girl is dating them.
Right.
And so now that Mark has really been put on the map because of Kristin's fame, I'm curious to see, are we going to see him with a Sydney Sweeney type? I mean, she's obviously engaged, but is he going to be going for a bigger celebrity?
Is he going to try to climb the ladder of beautiful women?
That's usually what happens in Hollywood.
What a ladder to climb.
Yeah, but I think he's in Nashville, right? He's not in LA.
Oh, that's perfect. Like a country starlet. I could see him really becoming a star.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, not Kelsey Ballerini because he's in a relationship.
This guy's going to be the next Sam Asghari.
No, he's already way bigger than Sam Asghari.
Oh, poor Sam.
I mean, sorry, Sam, but like, when was the last time we talked about Sam?
Right now.
I forgot who it was for a second.
Okay, on to our next story. Anna Delvey.
Yes.
She was on Dancing with the Stars. She's now explaining the remarks she made upon her exit from the show.
Yeah. So, do you remember? So, she got eliminated. People did not want her on, right? Because she's like a former criminal. She conned a bunch of people, pretend she was like this German heiress. She had an ankle bracelet. They like really leaned into like that whole thing when they showed her first dance. She was the last one to go. So they wanted you to like talk about her. This was like their like buzz factor.
Right.
So she was asked at the very end, like, oh, what did you learn? Like when she got eliminated, they're like, what did you learn? And she's like, nothing. And everyone was like, okay. Like she just came off like exactly who you think she is, which is just like
direct and dry.
Yeah, and just like not we never got to learn the real Anna.
Okay.
Is there a real Anna? Well, so she explained on a podcast. She said the judges told her what to do and she tried to follow their instructions. She said she was ultimately rejected. She feels there's just nothing to take away from the experience. And she went on to say that she felt, I'm sorry, we have the clip. Let's just play that.
Because that was the truth. I think like, well, you guys told me what I'm supposed to do. I tried to do it and then I still was rejected. And I'm taking away, nothing is what I'm taking away from it. Because your advice was worthless. The advice that you gave me, it did not pay off for me, even though I tried to follow it.
Right.
And this is how I felt.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. Well, I know like people were trying to interpret my answer like in a different ways, but no, not really.
Okay, so
she just sounds like a sore loser to me.
I mean, I don't know who she is. I don't watch Dancing with the Stars, but I kind of like her honesty. I liked that she goes, I learned nothing. Like, just because we're on TV, do we have to say, oh, I've learned about
Well,
how
like,
to be...
You need to know how to... Like, it's easy to know how to win, but you have to know how to lose, too. And maybe she's, like, leaning into her character of, like, being this mean, like, out-of-touch person. But I think if we saw, like, a little bit more of a likability from her in the end... Maybe people would have been like, okay, it wasn't all for nothing. But once we saw her say like, oh, nothing, I learned nothing. Like, then it's like, okay.
She
like
was already off the show. Like,
yeah,
she had nothing.
So maybe she could have been like, you know what? I'm so grateful for the experience.
Oh, who
It
cares?
was really fun.
That's all bullshit anyway.
Well, so is
I prefer
her being
honesty.
like nothing.
No, I prefer the honesty.
Oh.
All right, let's get to our almost news story. George Clooney, him and his wife Amal sold their $14 million home to Kristin McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey and Olvia Culpo.
Yes.
Which is crazy. Like,
they just got married.
They just got married. In the first place, George had bought it from Stevie Nicks 30 years ago for $2.2 million.
Have you seen the photos of this place?
It's gorgeous.
It looks like a castle.
It's beautiful.
Like a castle in the middle of like LA.
But this castle is like, I can't believe the people who's been passed down by.
Right.
Stevie Nicks, George Clooney, and now...
Do you think you make up stories? Like when you're like having your housewarming party, do you say like, oh, this is where George and Amal, you know, rumor has it they had a sex poll in here. Or like, do you like go around and say like,
That
oh,
would
and
be funny.
Stevie Nicks, she actually wrote her hit in this room. Like, I feel like you would just say it
That's
just to like
funny.
get people going.
Just create some history.
Yeah.
I like
Do you
that.
know who lived in your place before you?
Yes, Trisha Paytas.
Shut up.
Yes, Trisha Paytas.
No way. I don't believe you.
I've talked to her
Your
about it.
actual, where you live right now. You're sleeping in the room she slept in.
No, well, I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've talked about it to Trisha before, and if those walls could talk.
Mine's not as exciting. A guy named Ralph lived in my place before me.
That's not that exciting. You're right about that. Shout out to Ralph.
Yeah.
Hit us with your Today in History.
Today in history, things that happened on this day in the past.
All right, we got to start with that.
Today is National Love People Day.
Oh, there's a day for everything.
Who do you love?
I mean, you know, there's the standard.
Why are you like taking so long to
Love People Day. Are we
Yes.
serious?
Yes.
Love People Day?
You should, because people usually don't love people. They're like, I hate people, but I love pets.
Oh,
I
no,
love
I
cats.
hate pets. I hate pets.
Oh,
Love People
but
Day.
you have 2 dogs. You even rescued a blind dog.
Next question.
Oh my gosh. This day in 1868, the first volume of Little Women was published.
It'd be funny if it was just about one woman.
I know.
A little woman.
Little woman.
Yeah, okay.
This day in 1955, James Dean died in a car accident in Salinas, California.
Okay.
Do you know that whole story?
I don't.
James Dean, super famous. He was like 24, got in a car accident. And like, I think it was his Porsche. He was like racing. He was always like racing this car.
It was today,
around.
though.
This day, yeah, in 1955 was a really big deal at the time. He was like very famous.
How old were you back then? You were probably 14, 15?
Oh, rude. You were like the same age. And you look older than me,
You're
by the way.
slightly older than me.
Okay, but you look older than me. I'd rather be slightly older but look younger.
I got 2 kids under my belt.
Okay, well, yep, kids will age you faster than
That's
anything
true.
else. This day, 1960, the Flintstones debuted on ABC Primetime.
Love the Flintstones.
Meet the Flintstones.
That's the correct theme song. Remember last time how I thought it was the Jetsons theme song?
Yeah.
A bit of a callback to any of our repeat listeners. There might be
Right.
1 or 2 out there.
Repeat listener. This day in 1997, Microsoft released Internet Explorer 4.0.
Oh, the internet was invented.
Well, no, this was the release of like their edition 4.0. We're in like we're in edition like 11 right now.
Okay, but if you're just doing this is when 4.0, are we just every
Well,
week? This is when 3.0 came
Wait,
out.
hold on. This was
when 2.0.
1997, so this is when people really started using it.
And any birthdays?
Yes, Martina Hingis, tennis player,
Right.
very famous. Maddie Ziegler,
Next.
Lacey Chabert from Mean Girls. Kieran Culkin, T-Pain, and Fran Drescher. Everyone always compares me to her.
Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why.
Oh, hey!
Welcome to the TMZ podcast. All right.
I would do an Australian accent, but I'm actually not really good at it.
Thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
And we'll see you guys here tomorrow.
Bye.